Okay, one of these teams is going to emerge as a possible serious SEC contender. The loser's probably going to fall back to the middle of the pack in the conference, 8-4, 9-3, which of course in the SEC still means top 15 or top 20 in the country. MarkRogersTV and ProFootballCentral.com on the game in Death Valley on Saturday night. It should be a good one with Florida going to LSU. The Gators have to find playmakers to win this football game. That has been the search going back to the Tim Tebow days. This offense, despite the 11-1 record regular season last year, dormant under Jeff Driscoll. Driscoll, of course, getting injured for the season, out against Tennessee. Tyler Murphy stepped in against the Vols, played a decent game, and he's gotten better each week against Kentucky and then against Arkansas in the Swamp Saturday night. 16 of 22, 240 yards, 3 touchdowns, no picks. He threw the mid-range ball very well. Notice the completions at 16 for 240 yards. That's a lot per completion. The main reason why is because Solomon Patton took 2 of those to the house, 6 receptions for 124 yards. Florida needs somebody to step up as a playmaker. It's most likely going to be Murphy or Patton in the passing game. You also have Trey Burton, Quinton, Dunbar, more possession-type receivers averaging 13, 15 yards per reception. Between Patton, Burton, and Dunbar, they have to find playmakers in the passing game to challenge Georgia and South Carolina in the SEC East and a potential Alabama or LSU or Texas A&M in the SEC championship game. This offense is averaging just 25 points per ball game. This was the issue all of last season. They move it on the ground between the tackles. Very little in the passing game. But we saw a spark against Arkansas last week. And yes, the Hogs are very limited at the linebacking core and especially in the secondary. But Arkansas does bring 2 of the best defensive ends in the SEC. And again, Murphy and Patton tore them up to the tune of 30-10. Murphy's completing 72% since he came in for Driscoll against Tennessee. 530 yards, 5 touchdowns, 1 pick. And again, very good, very efficient, and picking up the big yardage plays against Arkansas for 3 touchdowns and no picks, 240 yards. Okay, on the ground, that's where it starts for Florida. And this is where Florida defeated LSU, a very good LSU defense last year, in the Swamp in the 4th quarter. Mike Gillislee wore on this defense. This year, it's going to have to be Matt Jones and Mack Brown. What has to worry Gator followers here is that for a college running back, averaging just 4.3, that's Matt Jones, and 3.7, that's Mack Brown, per carry, does not speak to the offensive line or the playmaking ability of those backs to break tackles and get into the secondary. Florida's going to have to step up in the running game and be more productive in the running game to set up the pass and give Murphy a chance to hit some plays downfield. Again, Jones at 4.3 per carry, and Mack Brown at 3.7. Certainly expected much more out of Matt Jones. He did light up the Wildcats of Kentucky for 176 yards 2 weeks ago. All right, defensively for Florida, no Dominique Easley. Got hurt a couple weeks ago. He's rehabbing, preparing himself for the NFL draft in April. You've got Damian Jacobs, who is filling in for Easley. He's performed well. Dante Fowler Jr., he's basically filling in as the playmaker up front for Dominique Easley. Fowler, they call him teddy bear off the field, but he's playing anything but like a teddy bear on the field. 7 tackles for loss and 3 sacks. You also have Darius Cummings. They have moved him from tackle to nose guard. And also Jonathan Bullard. He can play end or tackle. This Florida defense is exceptional. Love the defensive line and the linebackers and the secondary, one of the best in the country. If not, I'm going to call it right now without even thinking about it, the best defensive secondary in the country. You've got the safety, Jaylen Watkins. He leads the team in total tackles. SEC Defensive Player of the Week last week, Loucheiz Purifoy. This guy is lightning. You've got the freshman, Vernon Hargreaves, who leads the SEC with 3 picks. And then you've got the junior cornerback who we tabbed as one of the top 10 defensive backs in college football preseason. He's been out for a couple weeks, got hurt earlier in the season, but Marcus Roberson will be back in the lineup here. So if you look at that kind of defensive talent in the secondary, multiple players who can cover one-on-one and really hit you and pop you and play the ball as well as they can, Look at the LSU passing attack. Odell Beckham Jr. and Jarvis Landry have caught 77 passes. They're dynamite. After those two, no LSU receiver, running back, or tight end has more than 7 receptions. You got to think Zach Mettenberger is going to continue to lock down on Odell Beckham and Jarvis Landry. So to cover those two is the key, obviously. Bracket them. Do whatever you need to do. Bracket both of them at times. You can't do it every play, but you need to bracket on one side and get your best guy covering one-on-one on the other receiver. They really need to focus and make somebody else beat you in that LSU passing game. Make Mettenberger look at somebody else, because the tight ends and the running backs out of the backfield and the third and fourth wide receivers are not going to hurt you, or at least make them hurt you. What we see out of the Florida defense is the same thing that we saw in 2012. One of the best defenses in the country against a brutal schedule. Take in this stat. Florida has not allowed 20 points in one football game going back 13 games. No other team in the conference has done that. That's against SEC competition for the most part. We're talking about, in that span, taking on LSU, taking on Texas A&M and Johnny Football last year. We're talking about Georgia and South Carolina. Florida, no 20-point games regular season in the SEC for the last 13 SEC games. They are currently number 1 in the SEC in total defense, rush defense, pass defense, and scoring defense. They're in the top 6 in all those categories nationally. Okay, granted, they've taken on Tennessee, Kentucky, and Arkansas, the 12th, 13th, and 14th ranked offenses in the SEC. But one of the reasons why those 3 teams, Arkansas, Kentucky, and Tennessee, are ranked that low is because they faced Florida. Okay, Florida, we will really get to see what this team is made out of on defense the next 3 weeks, because instead of facing the 12th, 13th, and 14th ranked offenses, they're facing numbers 2, 3, and 4 in LSU, Missouri, and Georgia. Okay, Florida struggling on offense. We like the LSU defense to play much better than it has, coming off the nice showing in the second half that they had against Mississippi State and giving up just 3 points after horrible showings in the first half against Mississippi State, and of course going back to the Auburn and Georgia games. LSU improvement on defense, one of the best offenses in the country. Check out our post on LSU that we cut just a couple days ago, where we focused on this game, but specifically on LSU offense and defense. Here, the Florida offense and defense. We like LSU, despite the Florida defensive dominance, to pull out a win at home, where they've won 28 of 29. Tigers defeat the Gators 30-20. Now need to hear from you. Your pick on this game, more insight into LSU and Florida, right here on MarkRogersTV and ProFootballCentral.com.